The Cadets, one of the most decorated drum corps in history and the oldest corps of its kind, has officially folded. On April 2nd, Cadets Arts and Entertainment made an official statement that the Cadets are filing for bankruptcy. This is, of course, devastating news for anybody who's been involved in the drum corps activity. Since 1934, the holy name Cadets have played a huge role in the competitive drum corps scene. They've produced many memorable shows year after year and helped shape the activity into what it is today. Now, I've never marched the Cadets, but this corps, it still had a big influence on me and my career as a musician. Their 2005 show, The Zone, was the first DCI show I ever saw. Not in person, unfortunately, in 240p ripped straight off a LimeWire, probably along with some malware. I absolutely loved this show. I would watch it every single day, and it got me really interested in drum corps, and I wanted to watch and download all of the drum corps shows I could find. Cadets was also my first in real life drum corps experience. In 2007, I went to their audition camp, and I got my first taste of the drum corps life. 16-hour rehearsal days, sleeping on the gym floor, showering with like 60 dudes. Actually, wait a minute, I didn't shower at all that entire weekend because, well, I was too scared to. The Cadets are very special to a whole lot of people, whether you marched there, taught there, or were simply just a fan. It's sad to see them go, but why, after 90 years of such great success, is the corps filing for bankruptcy now? Well, anyone who knows anything about drum corps should be aware that it is very expensive to run a drum corps. According to this graph posted by Spirit Drum and Bugle Corps, their budget for a single season of DCI World Class is $1.7 million. The Cadets posted a breakdown of how they covered their 2022 season expenses. This gigantic list of donors only covers about 30% of the total cost, while membership dues cover 50%. Dues vary depending on the drum corps, but $5,000 appears to be the norm for a world-class drum corps tuition. That price is quite high. It's more than twice as much as what I paid when I marched back in 08, 09, and 2010. And I feel like it is pretty unreasonable to ask members to pay much more than $5,000, which is why a lot of these corps are running into some financial issues. Southwind Drum and Bugle Corps, the 2023 DCI Open Class bronze medalist, is another corps that sadly had to fold this year due to financial issues. And I'm sure most of you are aware of Santa Clara Vanguard, who will be fielding a corps this year, but had to take last season off for financial reasons as well. However, this is actually not the reason why the Cadets are filing for bankruptcy. On October 13th, 2023, Cadets Arts and Entertainment announced that they will suspend competition for the 2024 season. And this announcement made it appear that they were kind of in the same situation as SCV last year, where they were just going to take a year off to get their financial situation in order and then get back out there on the field in 2025. This statement from John Brojak, the CAE board chairperson, confirmed that this was the case, even encouraging fans to donate to the corps. But there is much more to this story behind the scenes. In September 2020, a lawsuit was filed against the Cadets. This lawsuit alleges that an incident occurred all the way back on December 31st, 1982 at an unofficial event of the Garfield Cadets. A woman who was 16 years old at the time claims to have been assaulted by staff member Steve Vogt. In addition to that, there are 10 more unnamed defendants in the 1982 Cadets organization that are being held liable for this assault. Cadets Art and Entertainment Insurance carrier rejected their request to provide coverage to fund these defense costs, causing them to have no choice but to file for bankruptcy. And, well, this is actually not the only time that a cadet staff member has been accused of a crime. Meet George Hopkins, the long-term corps director of the Cadets. Yeah, we're about to go down the George Hopkins rabbit hole, so buckle in for this. In 2018, Hopkins was accused of assault and harassment by numerous women ranging from age 16 to 37 at the time of the incidents, which dated as far back as 1980. As part of a plea agreement, prosecutors withdrew 2 charges of felony assault and added an indecent assault count, a misdemeanor. Hopkins pleaded no contest to that charge and was sentenced to 2 years probation and a fine of $5,000. Since this crime occurred in 2010, before a recent amendment to Megan's Law, Hopkins is not subjected to register as a sex offender. It seems like he got off pretty easy on this, but well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a guy sitting here reading news articles. George Hopkins also filed a lawsuit for $650,000 in severance, vacation, and expenses against Youth Education in the Arts, the Cadets organization at the time. YEA countersued George Hopkins for $1.5 million, stating they lost that amount in sponsorships, donations, and ticket sales after the allegations against Hopkins were made public. So that big list of donation names from 2022, this list was likely many pages longer prior prior to 2018. This lawsuit was settled in January 2019, though I am unable to find any information on who won or how much they ended up getting paid. And while the lawsuit against Steve Vogt, that is the main reason that the Cadets are filing for bankruptcy right now, but the actions of George Hopkins, this also contributed in a few different ways. One, because of those losses in funds mentioned earlier, which probably could have helped with the cost of legal proceedings, but also two, having a staff member charged with a crime is a really bad look for the Cadets as they go into the Steve Vogt lawsuit. I mean, George Hopkins' name is literally mentioned in the amended complaint and will likely be brought up during the legal proceedings. So yeah, definitely not a good look here. After the George Hopkins fiasco, YEA dismantled and became CAE, and while CAE did their best to steer the ship back on track, the Cadets' past is coming back to haunt them 42 years later. So the Cadets might be gone forever, but we will still have the inspiring performances over the Corps' 90-year history to always enjoy. Rest in peace, Cadets, for holy name shall always be.